Good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or a yes there. Just let me know that it is working. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning so far. Hopefully your weekend was awesome. Um, Looking forward to some holidays here. And I'm looking forward to today's class and get into some bankers close trades. Let's go over to our disclaimer. As always, I need to remind you guys about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. So make sure that you're going through that process each and every time that you take a trade. Lastly, I am not a financial advisor. If you're seeking financial help or advice, I just recommend that you reach out to a registered financial advisor. All right, guys. So as far as news goes, today's a clean day. Other than we had that huge news event rate statement with the yen last night, which we can talk about. So we're going to try to stay away from the yen, but we don't even really trade the yen that much during these hours anyway. So we're probably good to go. So with that in mind, we need to talk about our trade from last night. That trade's still going. I'll talk about why I entered into that trade and a couple of other thoughts behind that as well. But let's get into this banker's close now that we've checked the news and things like that. So what I want to do here is just look for levels of, in addition to the Bollinger Bands, I want to find if we can, I want to look for some significant areas where we could find help from the big banks. So right here on the Euro Franc, here's a 5-minute chart. We're not at an upper or lower Bollinger Band yet. Let me just briefly look at that one. Okay, Euro Pound, actually we just came up here on the Euro Pound. Okay, I might want to grab a couple of shorts on this real quick. 1 second. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let me jump over here. I'm a little bit late to this one, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah, I want to do some shorts on the Euro Pound. Nice work, Sam, on the banker's close yesterday. I saw that one. It looked really awesome. And I also, congrats to those of you that sent out messages to me, just letting me know that you did successfully trade the banker's close without me. I'm really happy to hear that. That means you're on the right track, trying to find the right trades. I like this one. I didn't even look at the pound franc, but I do like this one just from the first glance. And then pound franc is coming in pretty low here. Let's see. You'd have to go to a higher time frame to find more support on this guy, which on the hourly you have to go back and find stuff. And sure enough, yeah, there's some areas that are of interest here on the pound franc. Like you've got this area. I would argue that this is also a strong area right there. And then this is an obvious one right here. So yeah, we're coming into a little bit of that with no news. So I feel comfortable being a buyer there on the pound franc. If you wanted to do that one with the Euro Pound, we're up here. So just the opposite, which makes sense. This one seems to be a lot closer to some liquidity. Yeah, up here, you can see where that liquidity is. Let's zoom in. On the Euro Pound, you've got, this is a supply area. And then the next supply area would be like right here. Both of these were what preceded a break of structure. So that makes sense. And then if I bet you if you pull up like an hourly and pull up Sonar Lab, yeah, sure enough, like this, well, I guess this one almost exactly how we drew it is a, you can see this area is a demand or a supply area. This one, not so much, but they're saying it's more kind of up here, which is fine. I'm curious what the 2-hour says. 2-hour has this the whole thing that we drew out as a supply area. So yeah, I think the Euro Pound is definitely the way to go as far as a banker's close goes in a short. this whole thing up here is supply. So yeah, you should be able to get a good trade out of this. Should be able to, yeah. I'll probably, I think I would like to draw out some of those areas on on this platform as well. But like I said, this should be a good trade because you've got a lot of sell blocks up here. I think even more so than the pound franc. Let's take a look on the 1 hour. I guess this area generally is a buy order block down here. So you've got a lot of institutional buys in this area, which is good. That makes sense. I mean, it's kind of just the mirror image, just the opposite direction of of the um, of the euro pound. So yeah, this would be a good demand area. Yeah, like I said, if it just depends. If you prefer pound franc, you could go pound franc. You could buy this, or for the bankers close today. Or if you prefer euro pound, which generally I do, it's just kind of I just lean towards it if I can. I'd probably go that one. Yeah, but this does look good. All of this is coming into, like, even if this one went against you. So I drew out my own block, right? This is my own personal block right here. But Sonar Lab, the indicator is indicating that, this is an institutional buy block right here. So if this thing went against you, you'd get a lot of help in about 30 pips from the institutions right around here. So anyway, that's if you needed, I would still initiate your buy order now. But yeah, I think you'd be looking pretty good right there. So all right, back to the euro pound. But what's even cooler about this one is you're already in the block. We're already in a sell block right now. On the hourly. On the 2 hour, I think this whole thing's this whole area is supply. And you can see that sorry guys, my voice here. You can see that it is like right up here. Every time this market comes to a high, look how fast it comes down, right? Comes up, comes down, comes up to supply, comes back down quickly, comes up to supply, comes down quickly. So that's another clue as to what the market's trying to spell out to us here. The narrative is saying, hey, there's a lot of supply on the euro pound up here. So it's going to be really hard to break through this. So the fact that you don't have, we're at holiday trading right now. So, you're not going to see as much volatility. The fact that there's not a lot of news like at all on this pair right now, the chances of us breaking through a significant supply zone is almost not even possible. You'd have to have like a black swan event to come in here to cause this to break through supply. So I really think we've got the market by the tail here, on this one, at least for a banker's close trade. Again, I think a short here makes a ton of sense now that we've done our higher time frame analysis. Now back down to the smaller time frame. Again, what's your general signal with the banker's close? If you're up at the upper Bollinger Band or lower Bollinger Band in the banker's close hour, you want to execute a trade, in the opposite direction. We did that. We were a little bit late to it, but that's okay. We're still in a really good selling area, and I don't think that's even done yet. I think that's probably going to keep coming down, but we should be, we're starting to get some profits with this here. On the 15-minute Bollinger Band, we still have a ways to go, but the general rules with the strategy is the 5-minute Bollinger Band, but I do think we're going to come down a little bit more. So where are we going to come down to next? Well, probably the next demand zone, at least on a smaller time frame before we turn the other direction. Where would that be? Again, you want to identify a break of structure. So I would say this one's a little harder to find, but I would say there's some structure right here. and probably technically this whole thing's resistance right here, and that broke. What caused the break of structure? Most of it's kind of in this area right here. So if anything, the market should return to this demand zone right here on a smaller time frame. I would say that should be kind of your minimum target today, is down into here. So you've got another 6 pips to go, 7 pips to go before I would even consider taking any profits on this trade. So that's kind of nice. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and pull some of these up into this demand area right here. And again, we'll just kind of close out a lot. Maybe I'll put one just before that area right there. And this would make us this would be a very successful day, you know, if we closed in this area right here. That'd be very successful. So, and then let's go take a look. So this is the euro pound option. Again, when you're trading the banker's close, you can trade. I have 3 pairs, right? The euro pound, the pound franc, and the euro franc. Any one of those 3 is a valid currency pair to trade during this hour. Why do we trade these 3 pairs? Because those are the only 3 currency pairs out of the 28 pairs that is completely associated with Europe and the bankers close in Europe. If you trade the euro against the yen, you still have that euro exposure, which is nice, but you're now taking into account another continent and another currency that's not necessarily related to the banker's close. You know, you could trade the dollar, and that's not a bad idea. The euro dollar is not a terrible one. But again, so you can absolutely trade the banker's close with those. But I would try, and this has been my routine for a long time now, is just trading the euro franc, euro pound, and pound franc for the banker's close, because again, those are the only 3 pairs associated with Europe and that particular close. So just as a reminder for those of you that are kind of new on what this phenomenon is. So at the end of the trading day in Europe, the banks have to reconcile positions, margin calls. They have to get their positions in a spot where they'd feel comfortable for the day. And so if the market's kind of at a daily high or a high of the day, like this one is, absolutely, towards the end of the trading day, you're often going to get a pullback to a median or to the next supply demand zone, which is the next demand zones right in here. So we should be able to get a return back to here by the end of the day, or within the hour, which would be awesome. So the London banks close in 45 minutes. The move doesn't necessarily happen all the time in that first hour before the London market actually closes. Sometimes it does take an hour or 2, 3 hours beyond the close to actually get to the price that you're hoping to get it to. But that is the phenomenon in a nutshell, is you're just looking to get the market to return back to a median, because these banks are looking to do the same thing. And the better currency pairs to trade that phenomenon would be, you know, currencies related to Europe. The pound would be great. Obviously, the London market closes in 45 minutes. Brussels actually closed about 15 minutes ago in the Frankfurt market. Those ones are not as big, but nonetheless, they are markets, right? But we kind of just consolidate those sessions into just the London session, which is the main close, and that is in 45 minutes. So again, I do feel very comfortable with this trade, very, very confident. Another thing that just clued us in here is on this 5-minute chart, look how this most recent candle closed about 20 seconds ago. This is a pin bar. It's also known as the banker's candle, right? Where you have the market testing the waters. It comes up to these prices up here where our entries are. and look how quickly it came back down. So it's just getting a rejection of that price. And so that's another indication that this market is struggling to hold its weight, struggling to stay up there. And so again, that's just furthering the case for our trade today. Um, um, in addition to the fact that if you go out to these higher time frames, or even just go back here, I mean, look at the last time the market was in this area. Look how much time, okay, put it this way. How much time has elapsed from here, from this peak to this peak? 658 bars. How many bars of the 658 did the market stay up here? You know, in this area, maybe just a handful, just a couple of bars that stayed up in this area and then got pummeled, right? And again, that should clue you into the fact that price is struggling to hold its weight up in these areas. And the fact that, again, when you compile the fact that at the end of the trading day, a banker's close hour, a holiday trading at that, right? Um, um, you don't have any news. You're coming into demand, or excuse me, into supply on a higher time frame. You just compiled so many evidences into one place. It just, again, it just compiles the fact that this is going to be a great trade. Now, again, I'm pretty convincing here, right? But I don't want you to go out and mortgage your house in 5 minutes and then slap a $500,000 trade on here that you can't afford. Just trade like normal. Just trade like normal. Like this, obviously every day, you know, we do this most days. This today, I believe, based off of what I see here, today should be an easier day than some of the other days that we trade this. Other days we have to be very nimble and we have to do some unique things, but today's going to be one of your more classic and easier days. From the looks of it, it's already doing quite well. We're up, you know, just past 60 pips of profit on this trade. It almost makes me wonder if we're not even going for enough money on this trade. Like, should we even consider expanding these take profits? You know, that might be something to talk about. You know, after, you know, the more I look at this trade, I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty good. Um, the only thing though is I do think we have the targets probably in a good area, just because again, this was the last demand before the subsequent breakout of structure right here. So if this is structure, this is structure, and the market just busted through it, we want to take profits at the mechanism that caused the break of structure, which is this right here. This is the mechanism right here. So, you know, we definitely want to be taking profits in this area today. All right, so we'll let that sit and do its thing. We can let the bankers close trade sit at this point. There's no reason to just sit here and talk more at this point. We've really covered, I think, unless you guys have questions specifically that I missed. If you have questions, let me know and I can answer those for you. But this is a great little trade. This is a great trade today. We should do very well on this. We're already doing great, but I'd love to see it come and kind of attack this area right here. All right, so we'll let that do its thing. Okay, let's talk about a couple of trades. So I took an overnight trade on I guess Sunday night or Monday morning, and did very well. And then I've got another trade on right now that is down. It's on that euro dollar that we took. It looks like it's starting to slightly improve a little, which is good. But let's go take a look at Trading View. So I sent out this trade. Let's go ahead and remove Sonar Lab and the Bollinger Bands so we can get a raw chart here. Let's go to an hourly. And so here's what I saw. Oops, let's go over here. So here again, here's the euro dollar. I really liked this because last night for a short, and let's talk about the reasons why I like this for a short, and I actually still do. And we're not even out of the trade yet. It did get pretty close to our stop loss, but it hasn't hit yet. But basically last night I came in here, I think around this area right here around this banker's candle right here, this huge wick, right? Huge, incredible. Here, let's zoom into it. This guy, okay, that led me on a little bit to this trade. So the fact that you had such a huge candle to the upside, tested this area, made a lower high, right? The market's making, it's got this high up here, which is a higher high, but then you've got this high, which is lower than this high. You've got this low, which is lower than this low. You've got this high that's lower than this high, and then lower low right here, and another lower high, right? It just kept going on. Like the evidences for a short just kept piling on last night. And then that was really a huge deal for me, but that was just one piece of the component or one piece of evidence. If you pull up Sonar Lab, Sonar Lab is indicating that there's a lot of supply up here. This actually didn't exist last night. So this is a new development, this buy block right here. So that may influence the trade just slightly, but nonetheless, this sell block was up here. And if you actually go to the higher time frames, like I think it was the 4-hour. Yeah, the 4-hour had a significant sell block in that same area that the 1-hour block was there. And so I knew that the market was going to kind of keep tabs on this area. And so if it came back up into this area, it would probably push it lower. And that's what we're seeing. And so the question is, where do we target, since we know that there's a lot of selling pressure right up in here? Where's the market going to go next? And not only that, but there is a truckload of supply up in here. Now, is the market going to come touch that again this year? I don't think so. I think this is going to be the high of the month, this wick right here that happened the other day. Is it going to come back? I really don't. I mean, how would it? What kind of news do we have? What would cause the market to come back up here again? So I was like, okay, well, there's no need to have trades up here because at this point in the year, it's not going to get there. So if anything, it's going to come to this area, which our stop loss is above this stuff right here. So again, that's why we're still in this trade. But I'm still confident about this order. I am a little bit surprised that it actually did come and retest it. I thought it was going to be done for. But nonetheless, that's where we're at. So we got a sell order block up here. We've got institutions selling on many time frames, right? Here's a 4-hour, they're selling 3-hour. Actually, it's not on the 3-hour, you can't really see it. But if you go to the 1-hour, yeah, it's there. There it is. And every time they come up into this area, it's just getting rejected. They have been able to successfully find some support in here, which is interesting to see. That may be something to take account of. Yeah, it looks like they may be trying to bolster something here. I don't know why they would though, because again, if you go to the 4-hour, like they need to come back and retest this demand down here. In fact, take a look at this. This is the demand I'm hoping to get to. So this is where my targets are. Again, this is the mechanism that caused a break of structure. So if this is structure right here, right, this thing, whatever this is, all of this is resistance. If this is the structure zone, what caused the market to break structure? It's whatever they did right here. Whatever orders they place right in this area is what caused the break. So we know that if the market came back into this area, you might see a move back to the upside. And so that's where my targets are. So I am selling this currently from where the price is now, basically into this next area, which is 60 pips away. And I'm still holding to my guns on that trade. I still have my belief in it. If there's anything to be concerned about, is that it looks like there is a recent development in a buy block here. And technically, and I do have to be aware of this, it's just something to think about. This little high is technically higher than the previous wick here. It's still lower than these highs, like this high over here, but it is starting, it did make a, nonetheless, it still made a higher high. And then right here, this is a higher low than this low. So that it is something to think about, but the fact that they're still getting rejected, and this is what I'm holding on to, the fact that they're still getting rejected, if you go to the 4-hour, Again, pull up Sonar Lab. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, you pull up Sonar Lab. It's still finding struggles up here. It just cannot muster up the ability to break through that. It just can't do it, right? And it is starting to come back right now, which, by the way, this trade, I was just curious. Oh, it looks like it came back a little bit. That's okay. But this euro dollar is starting to pull back now today, which is good because it was threatening up here, and it is starting to pull back, which is good to see. Okay, so I'm still staying in that trade. Again, hourly and 4-hour time frame is showing significant supply up in here with no news. I don't know how in the world it would break through that at this point. So I'm still sticking to the fact that it needs to come back and retest this demand before it would go back up again. So that's what I'm holding on to. However, if it does, because the market can do anything it wants, if the market did break above this, then yeah, we're toast. It's time to take a loss. And you just have to learn to do that, right? So, if it breaks above where the banks are selling here, yeah, we got to get out. But they haven't yet. So that's, again, why I'm still sticking into that trade. Okay, let me show you another trade I took. This was my Sunday night, Monday morning trade. It was on the Kiwi Franc. Yeah, it was beautiful. This was awesome. So this trade, the market was right up here. This is where I sold right there. Why did I sell there? Because, well, look at this. On an hourly time frame, count the sell blocks. The banks are I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sell blocks, guys, in the same area. Yeah, they're no joke. They were no joke selling this right there. This was Sunday night or early Monday morning. Okay. No joke, right? So that doesn't have, we didn't have as good of a signal on the euro. The euro dollar is still a great trade. We just didn't have as good of a, like, this is one you just undeniable. Like, look at that. Just so many sells. And then when you also come over here, this is a lower low than the previous low. This high is lower than this previous high. On the top of the fact that the banks are selling like crazy right up in here. Plus, you can do your own analysis. Like if you delete Sonar Lab and just get a raw chart, do your own analysis. Like come back over here, right? This is structure right here, right? Because this is a support level, right? And what caused the market to break structure? Oh, it was whatever this was right here. That's the mechanism. So since that's the mechanism, you don't want to sell at structure. You want to sell at the mechanism, which is this. And so if you sell at the mechanism, look at that, right? Beautiful little trade. So I didn't sell right up there. I sold a little bit later. I sold here. That's when I got wind of this trade opportunity. It was when I saw this. Okay, I put my stop above supply, and I put my target at the next demand. I felt like this was a solid demand level right here because this was the last thing that consolidated before a massive breakout. I didn't know it was going to go this far. Obviously, now I wish I had stayed in the trade, but still it was a great little trade to take, was this guy. And then if you pull up Sonar Lab, it's just confirmed. It's just confirmed. I mean, you see how much selling pressure's up here. It's like you can't deny that, right? Anyway, I didn't have anything that looked that good last night. Sometimes they come better. Sometimes they don't. This one looked really good. And now it's actually coming into some buys. Look at this. Like you can see, I'm not sure what's over here, but you can see there's some buy blocks right here. I wonder if you can go back in time. Yeah, sure enough. Let's talk about these. Yeah, these are some buy blocks. The one I like the most, probably this guy. This one right here. Why do I like this one? Because if this is the structure, right, this is the resistance, bring this down. If that's resistance, you know, what caused the market to break out of this? It's whatever happened here, whatever orders they put there is what caused this massive disrespect of this, you know. So if the market dipped back into this, you would definitely want to buy, which is, yeah, if the market went another, I guess 16 pips or so, yeah, you would definitely want to buy that. You might even consider buying now and then just holding and adding a little bit more as it comes down to here. I might even do that myself. And then this is an obvious stop loss. Like you would just stop out of this trade right here below where demand is, right? If this is demand, really solid demand zone, you could just stop out on the other side. So you could potentially buy this. I might actually do that. Just scale into this trade and then wait for it to come back up. But yeah, that was my trade that was my Sunday night, Monday morning trade right there. And then this is my last night trade, the euro dollar, which we're still waiting on, which is fine. In fact, actually, just real quick on that Kiwi franc, that one actually took time too. Like, this guy took some time. Like it didn't just happen right away. Like in fact, I remember it came down in my favor and then wicked up, and which was really annoying, and then later came back down. So, you know, just something to keep in mind that you have to be patient with these sometimes. And that's what I'm going to do with the euro dollars, just be patient. All right, I got a lot of stuff on my charts, but I think it's good. I tried it again. SonarLab, I like to use SonarLab as kind of like I do my own analysis first. Obviously, with my purple blocks, I look for my own buy and sell blocks on my own. And then after I do my own, I pull up SonarLab to see if there's confluence with those. And then we go from there. All right, let's come back over here to the euro pound trade. It looks like it's been coming up and down a little bit recently, just hasn't figured out what it wants to do just yet. So we're just hovering below our price, which is great. And this is just going to be slow getting there today because again, there's not a lot of volatility. It's going to be slow getting to our targets. Do we sell more if it goes above this? Potentially. Especially again, if we run our analysis back if we go back and do another analysis on the euro pound, again, every time it's been in this area, it's come down quickly. And then if you go up here, again, use SonarLab, you're in a block right now. Let's see, how far would this go to this next one? I guess this could go like 30 pips to the next zone. On an hourly, let's see if there's anything on the 15. On the 15, it's saying there's multiple sell blocks up in here. And that we actually haven't tapped into this one yet. So that's a good sign, you know, a lot more selling pressure there. That's a 15-minute. How about a 30? 30 saying this thing and this thing and this, well, yeah, basically this whole area is a good area to sell. That's why, again, that's why I felt comfortable selling this, because I knew that if the market goes up, we're going to get help. We're going to get a lot of help from the banks because we know that they're looking to sell this anyway up in this area. 2 hour, let's see, 2 hour. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember this. The 2 hour was saying this whole thing is supply. 4 hour. Yeah, 4 hours saying this thing is supply. And then you've got all of this up here. Yeah, that could be a great little trade. How about a daily? I'm just curious. Daily doesn't have anything out here. That's fine. All right. Yeah. So that's all we're waiting for is, waiting for this market to decide what it wants to do here. I do think if it did go up, another 15, 20 pips, the price action up here is going to be great. Like you should be able to get a nice little pullback today. But I don't even know if it's going to do that. We might just get a move in our favor. Like it might just finish off and do what we want it to do, come into here. It just might take past the hour. That's all I'm saying. Just be prepared for that. It's not going to be one of those things where it's not going to be one of those things where it just happens right away and we get the targets. I thought it could have earlier, but at this point, we only have 15, 20 minutes left until the London market closes. So it probably won't hit these targets in the next 20 minutes, but it still should hit those today. Okay, and I am curious to see how some of these other ones panned out. I want to just see how the pound franc's doing. Yeah, it's just slow today. That's all it is. Which by the way, so let's talk about that real quick. As far as trading goes this week, try not to force trades. So the other thing that we're going to find problems with, like, so for example, with the euro dollar, obviously we're selling this on a higher time frame here. This is going to be a theme of the week. We're going to have a lot of trades that start to go in our favor, and then they're going to bounce the other way, and then they're going to bounce back in our favor, and then they're going to bounce the other way, and then back in our favor. Like that's just going to be a theme of this week, because everything is indicating, we've talked about this, everything is indicating for this pair to come down and touch this order block, but it hasn't done it yet. I think if the market were in like a January, a February, a March, regular trading months, it would have hit already. We would have hit our targets on this short and we'd be done. But it's not normal right now, right? Actually the Kiwi franc was frustrating yesterday. It actually took me longer than expected as well to hit my targets on that guy. But such is life, right? Like that just happens during this time of the month. And this particular month. So what kind of trades should you be taking a lot? Like if you're going to trade for the rest of this week and even part of next week, what kind of trades where will you find the most success? So I think you will find, and everybody's different, right? But my trading plan for the rest of the year is basically banker's close, right? Like banker's close is where you're going to find success. You still won't find these monstrous banker's close moves where you can get like 30, 40 pips. I don't think you're going to find those, but making 10 pips at the banker's close will be like an everyday thing. 5 to 10 pips, maybe 15 will happen, gosh dang, nearly every day. You should be able to get that. If I'm going to trade these overnight trades, my targets are not going to be as greedy. I might take my profits a lot sooner just because the 100 pip moves, the 200 pip moves overnight, those are going to be hard to get at this point. The only reason why we had one last night was with the yen, because of the yen rate statement. That's the only reason we had that one. So yeah, so that's something that you're going to see. And then as we get into January, you'll see my targets kind of expand out a little bit more. We'll be going for a little bit more on each trade. But this kind of back and forth consolidation is going to be pretty common. Like you see here on the euro dollar, it's going to be really common. It'll be a little frustrating. Oh, that's another thing. One of the things that happens, especially to new traders, when this type of trading shows up, one of the things that we often like to do is, because we're not seeing the profits flow in naturally with regular price action, in order to compensate, a lot of new traders will go out and put a bigger lot size. They'll take a bigger contract, because the idea is, well, if the market's not going to move as much, if I still want to make the same amount of money, if I was making $1,000 a day or $2,000 a day or whatever it is, I need to take a bigger trade. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if that trade does go against you in a big way and you do your analysis incorrectly, and especially if you widen that stop loss out, like the loss could become really devastating. And I know this from experience, just during these times, we tend to change our rules when really, guys, we need to be razor sharp with our rules. We got to follow our rules because come January 2nd, when trading's back online full board, right? Like we got to be laser sharp and have our trading skills ready to go. And we don't want to be over leveraging on January 2nd, right? We want to trade like normal. And that's something I mentioned earlier today is just trade like normal. Don't change what you're doing. All right. Let's see. I wanted to see. Let's see. Sam says, what pairs do you trade in the Asian bankers close, Steve? Is it from 1 a.m. till 2 a.m.? Yeah. So there's actually 2 bankers close at night. So Sam, I know you're on the East Coast. So it's different timing. I know for me, so I'm in Mountain, I'm 2 hours behind you. So the Sydney close, I really like that one actually. It's the smallest close out there. The pip opportunity is usually pretty light. Like you don't get this huge, massive move, but it's a good little trade. So I pretty much exclusively for the Sydney close trade just the Aussie Kiwi only. And if there's like a lot of news with the Kiwi or something, I'll trade the Aussie yen. So AJ, I'll trade AJ if um if the Aussie Kiwi is not looking good, right? And that one's at midnight Mountain Time, so it'd be at 2 a.m. You'd be looking between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. for the Sydney close on the East Coast. If you wanted to trade the Tokyo close, that opportunity is between 1 and 2 a.m. Mountain, which would be between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Eastern. It's super inconvenient, right? Like that is 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. Can think about that. Like, or I don't know about that. For me, I would rather just trade the banker's close of London really, really well. Maybe just learn to trade on a slightly larger lot size on that one, then get up at 3 a.m. That one's a little too late. But if you're down and if you're like, you know what, but I got to make this money. And if I know how to make money in the middle of the night and it's worth it, or maybe you just don't sleep at night, well then yeah, heck yeah, let's get you trading those closes because those are good ones. So again, Sydney is between 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2 a.m. Eastern, Sydney is. And Tokyo is between 3 and 4 a.m. Eastern. And you could trade anything with the yen on those. Again, I like the Aussie Kiwi for Sydney, or I'll trade AJ if the Kiwi has news. If the Aussie has news, I might just have to go with something with the Kiwi for that close. And then for the banker's close of Tokyo, which is at 3 a.m. with 3 and 4 a.m. Eastern, AJ is what I like. So Aussie yen. But you could go with like anything like a Kiwi yen is a good one too. So let's take a look here. Oh, nice. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. I didn't notice that. Take a look, guys. Oh, we're booking profits. We are booking profits, guys. Never mind. I take that back. I stand corrected, right? We are taking profits. We're boom, another profit taken. Here we go. Thanks, Dan. I got talking, right? There's another profit. There it goes. Got booked 55 pips booked. Let's get another one here, guys. Actually, I need to manually take this because we are in demand right now. We are in a demand zone. So I got to take some of these. Actually, I'm going to take one more off because we are right in demand. That's why you have take profits, right? Just because like what if this thing goes right back up? If this thing goes right back up, I would have missed that completely. So I'm glad we placed our take profits, but I got 3 trades left. That was perfect. So we've got 82.9 pips booked and 30 and 40 pips unrealized. So this is just perfect. And look where it's stopping. Like and I don't know what's going to do from here. Like that's why you got to take some of these profits when they come available to you. I was talking to another trader the other day about the importance of taking profits when they are available. And that's precisely why I take multiple trades when I trade. Like I don't just slap one single trade and just cross my fingers and hope, right? Like I do take multiple trades because I want the flexibility of, hey, if this market comes all the way down to here, I'd like to take some profits in there. But if it only comes down part way down, into an acceptable take profit zone, I want to take some of those profits too, right? Because you just don't know how far it's going to go. We have an idea, we have a pretty good idea of probably where it'll go, but it's all kind of a general area, right? And that's why you got to take some of those profits off, right? All right. So, and again, why is this a good take profit zone? And why did we take most of our profits in this box? Again, it's because this was the last break of structure. This zone right here was the last thing. This is the mechanism that created this breakout that subsequently broke this resistance right here. So support and resistance is what's called structure, right? And so they're interchangeable. So if I say break of resistance, break of support, that's also break of structure. So this was structure, and what caused it? It's whatever happened right here. And that's why you got to take your profits in that area, right? So now all I'm doing is I'm just trying to see if the market will go just a little bit more in my favor. And so that's why I've left the last 3 trades on to see if I can squeeze a little bit more out of this market. At this point though, guys, I'd probably would want to bring my stop losses to break even on the last 3 trades because just because at this point it's already broken a lot of levels that if anything, if it came back up to here, I'd be a little bit nervous actually. So I'd rather stop out of those ones. In fact, I'm going to put those just slightly in the money, like something like this. So we at least make a little something on those. There we go. Oops. Need to grab this guy. Come on. There it is. But there we go. Good day so far. Like at this point, we can't lose. We've already booked 82.9 pips. And if anything, these trades will go back to just slightly in profit, right? Which could happen. But we're in a really, really good spot at this point. That was funny. I said and you guys heard me say this. I said I don't think it's going to hit its targets at this point. I don't think it'll. I mean, I said it will by the end of the day, but I didn't think it'd happen in the hour. But yeah, I stand corrected. That's awesome. I'll take that. I feel like sometimes if I act more pessimistic and I tell the market, yeah, I don't even trust you. I don't trust you, market. Then the market's like, oh yeah, I'll give you what you want. So like, I just have to be a little more pessimistic sometimes, and then it'll do what I want. If I'm optimistic, then the market's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you some humble pie here. So I don't know. I'm just superstitious that way. Um, no, it does whatever it wants. It doesn't care. It doesn't think about what I think. I need to remember that. But good. Yeah, good. That is, guys. So for those of you that are new, or those of you that are, I know a lot of you signed up last week and that are new. Also, those of you watching the recording of this is classic banker's close, like to the T. Okay. This is banker's close, classic, original OG, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And let me just recap it again for those of you that are watching this in the recording or didn't get it. I really want you guys to get this in your mind because this this concept will change your life, right? You come at the end of the trading day, right? Between 9 and 10 a.m. Mountain, which is between 11 and 12 p.m. Eastern. It's a very convenient time, I feel like, for a lot of folks. because it's not too early, it's not too late. You know, you can come in here, you can do whatever you need to do in the morning still, come in here, trade this for an hour, and then get out, make your money and go home, right? So with this trade, we're just coming in here and doing this for an hour, and then we're pretty much done. But you're looking for a break in the upper Bollinger Band or lower Bollinger Band on a 5-minute chart with those three pairs we talked about, Euro Pound, Pound Franc, or Euro Franc. Ideally, you want to find one of these pairs that's nearing a supply or demand. How do you find that? You can either manually look for it like we did over here, or you can cheat and use Sonar Lab. I don't want to call it cheating. It's to your advantage, right? It's not cheating, but like it's, you know, okay, if you go to the Euro Pound, I don't remember if this one, yeah, Euro Pound on a 1 hour is right in supply. Okay, right in supply. So we knew this was a good area to sell at, right? End of trading day, no news, bankers close, holidays, high of the day. It's all there, man. Like it's all there. This is the classic bankers close setup, right? Beautiful trade, stunning trade. Okay. All right. So and then you're just targeting, you're just looking for targets at the next demand. In this case, demand. You're looking for the next demand for your targets, which again, glad we got out of most of those here. We'll see if it can break another level here and tap into our last 3 trades, but already so good. Already so good. All right, guys. So let's see. So we've recapped bankers close. At this point, we can just let these things ride for the rest of the day. You could, at this point, you could literally walk away from your computer and just come back later and see how these last 3 trades did. But you've already booked 82.9 pips on the day, which is amazing. It's absolutely stunning. So, and then as far as longer term trades go, like we have our euro dollar, which we're just waiting on at this point. I'll give you an update this evening on what we decide to do, but it's just hanging out in this whatever, right? We're just hanging out in this. And I will look tonight, I'll look for another trade setup. We'll probably, if we're still in this trade, I will still probably take another order just on a different currency pair. So keep an eye out on that on the Telegram, and I'll send that out later. Again, they're a little harder to find. This one was a little more difficult. We've had some really good, like Thursday night, Wednesday night last week, we had amazing trades, absolutely stunning trades. So, and we'll get more of those. This one was great from the other night. I don't send out signals on Sunday night. So that's why you guys didn't get this one, but it obviously would have been great to have sold right here. I know. And I apologize, but I'll get you more. I will get you more trades. And also, no, one last thing before you guys go. Feel free to text me on Telegram. Like shoot me a message on Telegram, just copy and paste a screenshot. Say, hey, Steve, I'm thinking about taking this trade. What do you think? You know, I'm not ever going to tell you like, just because I can't, I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, definitely take that trade. I'm not going to say like, definitely take that trade, but I mean, I can tell you like, yeah, I'll take a trade. I'll take that with you if you're going to take it. And I'll just say, you know, if I see what I like, I'll just notice the things that I like, or if there's something that I am a little worried about, I'll mention that. But if that's something you guys want to do, I'm open to that kind of stuff. Ben, yeah, absolutely. This is a buy now. We did talk about this one a little earlier. I drew out an order block on this hourly time frame on the Kiwi Franc. It's fun because this exact block, that green one right there, that big one, is exactly the same one I drew out. So could you buy right now? Absolutely. The ideal buying spot though is right here. This is the jackpot. If you can get this market to come down into here another 20 pips, if you can get the Kiwi Franc to come down another 20 pips, the buy opportunity is amazing. You know, you could probably demand at least a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. You could buy here, stop loss at the end of demand, and go 3-to-1. I think that would be a minimum on. So yeah, could you buy right now? Yeah, it's not a terrible buying spot on the pound on the Kiwi franc. You'd probably have to scale into it though, because it does look like it could come down a little bit further though. All right, guys, great day, fantastic day. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you've got some fun plans. Thanks for coming, appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the next Banker's Close. Thanks for coming.